Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. A recent legal struggle in the extensive story of the Brown family, which is well known to millions of people thanks to the reality television program Sister Wives, has shocked their fanbase and others. With its blend of themes of love, faith, and the difficulties of multiple marriages, the TLC series, which follows the lives of Kody Brown and his polygamous family, has long captivated viewers. The most recent events, however, have diverged greatly from the family's previously cohesive story and have instead thrown them into an emotional and legal whirlpool that has left spectators in disbelief. Robyn Brown, Kody's fourth and only surviving legal wife, is at the center of this drama. Her emotional and financial troubles have led to a legal battle that could change both her future and the Brown family's legacy. According to multiple accounts, the situation in the courtroom was nothing short of explosive. Fans of Sister Wives have been following the Brown family as they deal with the hardships of their unusual way of life for years, from emotional betrayals to financial difficulties. A new beginning was intended to be symbolized by the family's relocation to Flagstaff, Arizona, and their grandiose ambitions for the Coyote Pass property. Rather, the property turned become a hot spot for disputes, with claims of treachery, partiality, and poor management emerging in recent seasons. The partition of this property and the financial contributions of each wife, especially Robyn, whose role in the family has long been a source of conflict between her former sister wives and fans, were at the heart of the legal battle that took place in court. After Kody's spiritual divorces from Mary, Janelle, and Christine, Robyn, who became the fourth wife to join the Brown family in 2010, became more widely perceived as the preferred spouse. The dynamics of the family were drastically altered by her legal marriage to Kody in 2014, which forced him to divorce Mary in order to adopt Robyn's children from a prior marriage. Supporters have conjectured that Robyn's hold over Kody grew stronger over time, resulting in claims that she took advantage of family decisions. These conflicts reached a boiling point in the courtroom when Robyn was questioned by the judge, as well as her previous sister wives, who joined against her and Kody. The Coyote Pass property, which the Browns bought in 2018 with plans to build residences for each of their wives, was allegedly the subject of the court case. However, years of animosity have been stoked by monetary disagreements and disparate contributions to the property's expenses. According to reports, Robyn and Kody were accused by Janelle and Mary in particular of mismanaging family assets and putting Robyn's financial needs ahead of the other spouses. In recent episodes, Janelle, who is well known for her financial savvy, disclosed that she had made a sizable personal contribution to the property, only to find out that her name was missing from the title. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation by this disclosure and claims that Robyn's debts were paid off and her house was secured using family funds. Mary Brown, who had been quiet and resilient during her time on Sister Wives, was a powerful force in court. Fans have witnessed Mary's emotional maltreatment at the hands of Kody for years, especially following a catfishing incident that soured their relationship. Viewers felt both pity and annoyance for her choice to stay in the family in spite of Kody's acknowledged lack of affection. But Mary was everything but quiet in the courtroom. Equipped with supporting documents and an unwavering determination, she made a compelling argument that undermined Kody's claim that his wives were treated equally. She revealed years of financial gifts to the family, including money that was allegedly taken to Robyn's advantage, in her testimony, which was characterized as both tragic and dramatic. The proceedings took a significant turn when Mary testified. She described how she had given up her own financial stability to help the family achieve its goals as a whole, only to be ignored when it came to choices pertaining to Coyote Pass. Janelle, who gave a thorough explanation of the family's financial history, including the settlement of more than $32,000 in credit card debt that Robyn brought into the marriage, backed up her claims. Janelle and Christine were upset about this debt, which turned into a joint responsibility because they believed Robyn's financial difficulties were unjustly placed on the family. As these discoveries came to light, the courtroom was a tense place that depicted a family that had been split apart by unfair sacrifices. According to reports, Robyn was overpowered throughout the proceedings. She broke down in tears as the judge handed down a decision that surprised the courtroom, according to sources. Even while the verdict's exact facts are yet unknown, it is obvious that Robyn was not spared. The judge's decision, which several media outlets have called a shocking verdict, seems to have favored Mary and Janelle by giving them more authority over the Coyote Pass property and perhaps even financial compensation. Robyn has frequently presented herself as the mediator on the show, so her emotional outburst was a sharp contrast to her typically calm manner. However, admirers quickly questioned if her tears were genuine, with many accusing her of pretending to be the victim in order to avoid taking responsibility for the family's financial difficulties. In court, Kody also encountered a great deal of criticism. The judge reportedly cut him off with scathing questioning regarding how he handled family finances, demonstrating his mistrust of his attempts to justify his rulings. Mary, Janelle, and even Christine, who are no longer related to Kody, gave testimony that exposed his partiality for Robyn, undermining his claim that he treated all of his spouses equally. Janelle described a conversation in which Kody acknowledged putting Robyn's house and kids before the needs of the other wives. This was one particularly damning moment. Together with proof of financial mismanagement, this admission portrayed Kody as a patriarch whose leadership had failed because to his own prejudices. Social media has been rocked by the verdict's aftermath, with Sister Wives fans using sites like X to share their thoughts. With remarks such, "It's so rewarding watching Mary and Janelle get along." Many praised Mary and Janelle's newfound friendship, indicating a change in the dynamics of the family. Others didn't feel the same way about Robyn. One admirer said, "She acts so smug about it like she won the prize. All of Kody's wives abandoned you, girl. In fact, you lost." Fans frequently expressed the opinion that Robyn's influence had caused the family to fall apart, citing her financial choices and alleged manipulation as major contributing causes. Deeper problems inside the Brown family were also illuminated by the courtroom drama, especially the psychological costs of their polygamous way of life. Kody spent years advocating for equality and harmony, but the truth was much more chaotic. Robyn was Kody's only wife after Christine departed in 2021, followed by Janelle and Mary, a circumstance that many fans think she planned. However, the court case showed that Robyn's job was not as safe as it appeared. She has been portrayed negatively by accusations that she was involved in Kody's financial mistakes, including using family money to settle her debts. Some fans have speculated that she would be subject to additional legal repercussions. The agreement between Mary and Janelle, who had previously been at odds because of their divergent ties with Kody, was one of the case's most remarkable features. Their courtroom cooperation, which fans called a heartwarming gesture, signaled a dramatic change in the sister wives storyline. Mary's invitation to go with Janelle to get a spiritual divorce was especially moving because it represented a connection formed over suffering. Supporters praised this partnership, with one observer writing, "They might actually be healing the hurts of the past without Kody Brown's interference." Fans who want to see the women regain their independence have called for a divorce party for Janelle because of their newfound sisterhood. Robyn's future has also been the subject of conjecture due to the case's financial specifics. She may have found herself in a vulnerable financial situation as a result of the verdict, according to reports, with some media sites exaggerating the situation by saying she is now homeless. Even if this is perhaps overstating things, her lifestyle might be greatly impacted by losing her claim to Coyote Pass and the associated financial difficulties. Fans have noted Robyn's silence as an indication of sorrow and her lack of social media activity, since the decision has only fueled rumors. Fans and former sister wives viewed her choice to bring a television crew to Garrison Brown's funeral against the family's request for privacy as even more tone-deaf. It is impossible to overestimate Kody's significance in the drama. Throughout season 19, his leadership, once the cornerstone of the Brown family, has been continually questioned. Particularly in his relationships with Robyn, fans have accused him of gaslighting his wives and kids. Janelle's stinging comment, "You just take your little diesel jeans model and just go live happily ever after," was one of the season's most memorable moments. It perfectly captured the dissatisfaction that many members of the family were feeling. This statement, which supporters have hailed as a mic drop moment, has turned into a rallying cry for people who think Kody and Robyn's relationship has permanently harmed the family. The emotional toll of the Brown family's disintegration was also brought to light by the courtroom dispute. Season 19 was marred by the loss of Janelle's son, Garrison Brown, and Robyn's handling of the situation drew harsh criticism. Given her lack of obvious occupation, her claim that she was working at the time of Garrison's death was viewed with skepticism. With remarks like, "I may have screamed at the TV, doing what?" and "she was dressing her dolls or ordering more tacky art prints," fans vented their wrath on X, expressing mistrust about her contributions to the family. The widening gap between Robyn and the other members of the Brown family, who believed she was disconnected from their suffering, was highlighted by this instance. The Brown family's future is still up in the air following the courtroom drama. Fans are wondering about possible spin-offs that would center on Mary and Janelle's new lives now that they have the legal triumph to go on. Fans still like Christine, who has already made a name for herself as a prosperous entrepreneur after the divorce. Her child support action against Kody has further complicated the family's legal disputes. Meanwhile, Robyn has a difficult time winning back the public's favor. She has disproportionately profited from the family's resources, as evidenced by her admission during the tell-all episode that she now owns the notorious luggage rack, a sign of Kody's partiality. Once a celebration of multiple marriages, the sister wives story has changed to serve as a warning about the dangers of unequal partnerships. Even though Mary and Janelle won the case, Robyn and Kody are still having to deal with the fallout from their deeds. Fans are left wondering if Robyn's tears were a result of deception or regret, and if Kody would ever fess up to his part in the family's demise. The narrative of the Brown family is far from over as season 19 comes to an end, but one thing is certain: the harmony they once promoted is a thing of the past, having been replaced by a broken legacy that still fascinates and divides their viewers. The tension inside the Flagstaff courthouse was so thick it could have been cut with one of Christine's kitchen knives, as Robyn Brown, once the carefully protected favorite wife of Sister Wives fame, sat rigid in the front row, her manicured hands clasped so tightly in her lap that her knuckles gleamed white, her eyes darting between the judge's bench and Kody, who sat beside her looking like a man who had just realized the ground beneath his perfectly polished boots was crumbling. For months, whispers had swirled in fan forums and court-watch social media channels about a brutal property dispute involving the much-hyped Coyote Pass land. But what unfolded in that courtroom was beyond even the wildest theories, because by the time the gavel fell, Robyn's entire future in Flagstaff had been ripped out from under her. It started with the judge's calm but devastating recitation of the facts. Not only had the reallocation of parcels been conducted in bad faith, but the evidence suggested a deliberate attempt to funnel the most valuable and livable acreage into Robyn's name while cutting Janelle and the other ex-wives out entirely, a move the court deemed both grossly inequitable and, in certain instances, legally void. The gallery, packed with reporters and a smattering of locals who had followed the Brown saga for years, audibly gasped when the judge held up copies of land transfer forms with signatures that handwriting experts testified were highly questionable and, in some cases, outright traced. Cameras zoomed in on Robyn's face, catching every flicker of panic as the judge went further, citing financial statements showing that mortgage and tax payments supposedly covered by Kody and Robyn had, in fact, been drawn from a shared family trust without the consent of the other beneficiaries, an explosive revelation that not only undermined their credibility, but also set the stage for a blistering verdict. Kody, visibly agitated, leaned forward as if to interrupt, but the judge's gavel struck sharply, silencing him and warning that further outbursts would be met with contempt charges. Robyn's lip trembled as the judge announced that all parcels awarded to her under the disputed agreements would be stripped from her ownership and returned to equitable division among the rightful stakeholders, a decision that left her, in legal terms, with nothing. The courtroom fell into stunned silence as the judge added one final, brutal line. "Mrs. Brown, without valid claim to any portion of Coyote Pass, you will vacate the property within 60 days. In that moment, The woman once shielded from consequence by Kody's fierce loyalty found herself staring down the reality of being effectively homeless, her dream house plans obliterated in a single ruling. Outside, the press swarmed, microphones thrust forward, but Robyn kept her head down, tears streaking her cheeks, while Kody, normally quick with a combative soundbite, remained tight-lipped, his jaw clenched, his eyes burning with a mix of rage and humiliation. Meanwhile, Janelle and Christine, though absent from the hearing, reportedly received the news with quiet satisfaction, friends telling tabloids that justice finally caught up with the favoritism that had driven so much of the family apart. Fans lit up social media within minutes, with hashtags like #RobynEvicted and #KarmaAtCoyotePass trending before the couple even reached their car, memes flooding timelines depicting moving trucks parked outside Robyn's house and mock "for sale" signs planted on the land she once claimed as hers. Legal experts on YouTube quickly broke down the verdict, noting that while the court didn't use the word fraud, the language was scathing enough to make it clear that the judge viewed the Browns' property dealings as ethically indefensible. For TLC, the development poses a sensational but dangerous twist. While the drama could fuel record-breaking ratings for a potential season 21, it also risks exposing the network to criticism for glamorizing a family dynamic now tainted by legal scandal. But for fans watching the footage over and over, the focus wasn't on contracts or court filings. It was on that moment, frozen in time, when the gavel fell and the woman who had once been untouchable in Kody's world realized she was about to lose everything, not in the court of public opinion, but in a court of law. And with 60 days on the clock, the countdown to Robyn's next move has begun. Whether it's appealing the decision, scrambling to find a new home, or watching her place in Sister Wives history collapse alongside the life she and Kody built on the promise of Coyote Pass.